All right. The other thing that's really interesting about these cave paintings is we find symbols inside these cave paintings. So this is Genevieve von Pitziger, who is a Canadian archaeologist. And she spent decades going to different caves in Europe, and she cataloged all the different symbols. Okay? So these are not pictures, they're symbols. And as you can see, there's a lot of them. Okay? So why would they have these symbols? And also what's interesting is, if you think about it, this is a writing system. In other words, they had the capacity to write, but they chose not to write. Why? Because if you think about it, in this world, writing is a corruption, right? When you speak, you're channeling the divine. So when you are writing something down, you're actually counterfeiting the divine. Okay? Also, remember that for them, talking is really like singing, right? And you cannot capture music in the written form. So it's almost like a corruption of the song. Okay? And also, for them, this is really important. Everything is meant to be a communal experience. When you sing, when you talk, when you paint, we do it together. Okay? But when you write, it's a solitary experience. And that's why, even though we humans, from a very, right from the beginning, we have the capacity to write, we chose not to write. Okay, this is really important for us to understand. Writing was a conscious decision. It was not a technology that was invented later on. We just chose not to do it because we thought it was a corruption of the natural world. Okay? All right? Does that make sense? Okay? So this is these are all the geometric signs of Ice Age Europe. It's very similar to alchemy. Okay? Alchemy is trying to figure out the secrets of the universe. So the question then is, where do they get these signs? And the answer, of course, is it came to them in a dream, or they were inspired with these signs. Okay? This is a world of inspiration, of intuition, of imagination. It's not something that's deliberate. They don't plan this out, they don't discuss it. It just comes to them. And when they draw it out, it makes sense to people. Oh, I know what this means. Okay? All right? So let's summarize, okay? Why are the symbols in art? Well, because there's certain abstractions, certain concepts you cannot draw out, right? So for example, energy is a very important concept. Life force, cycle, repetition. Well, then you have to use symbols in order to express these ideas if you want to tell the story, okay? Second is, you are trying to visualize the language of the spirit world. Okay, so the spirit world is talking to you, but they come to you in images. So you use these symbols in order to express what they're talking about. And when you draw the symbols on a stone, you're making the stone divine and sacred, right? You're storing a memory inside the stone. Maybe something wonderful happened here. Maybe you gave birth to a child here, right? Then you commemorate the stone with a symbol. Okay, does that make sense? Okay? So why you're doing this is, well, first of all, you're trying to bring beauty to the world. That's why we humans were created, right? To make this world a more beautiful place, a more imaginative place, to celebrate the divine. We're showing God, or the spirit world, or the underlying soul of reality, okay? We're trying to figure out how the spirit world works inside our reality. The third reason is, we're trying to tell a story about who we are, okay? We're trying to combine our imagination together to create society, to create belonging, to create community. Okay? Does that make sense? Yeah? Sorry.
So you said about human trying to connect with the divine spirits, right? So do they consider...
Okay, sorry. So let me clarify, okay? This is really important. We're not trying to connect with the divine spirit. Why? Because the divine spirit is all around us. We coexist with the divine, okay? Everything around us is divine. But what we're trying to do is we're trying to be in harmony with the divine.
Okay.
Okay, do you understand?
Yeah.
Okay? Because in this world, there's no separation between the material and the spiritual. It's all one world together. The spiritual is all around us. But there are certain things that we do in order to reconcile our existence with the spirit world. For example, when we kill an animal, we need to commemorate the animal through paintings and through songs. Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay, good, okay. All right, and even today, we still do this, okay? So let's see examples. This is graffiti, okay, street art. But you can see what's happening where this is Spain, and you can see how beautiful this is, okay? It's the same concept as the cave paintings, where we're trying to give meaning to our community. We're trying to tell a story of who we are, where we came from, and where we're going, okay? And it's designed to build a common imagination, okay? No different from the cave paintings. We still do this today. And this is another example. And you can see different communities might have different focus. But you can see how the painting, what it does is it unifies the imagination of the people. Okay, so for this community, what matters is the family. Okay? So the matriarch, the mother, is the cornerstone of this community. And that's what you do with this painting. Okay? You can see how beautiful these buildings have become because of the paintings. So that's what art does. Art gives purpose, meaning to our world. All right? Okay, so some really important concepts I need you guys to understand, okay? And we'll go over this as semester progresses. And these concepts are going to be counterintuitive for us, okay? But the first concept I want you to understand is pre-literate people, okay? People who could not read and write. They were more intuitive, they were more imaginative, and they were more empathic, okay? Meaning I can know your emotions right away. I don't have to ask you anything. I don't have to ask you how you're feeling today. I know exactly how you're feeling right away. Okay? All right. So we can see this. This is Inuit art. Okay? So this is art by native people. So even in communities of today that hold to this tradition, you can see how they perceive the world, right? They perceive the world as unified. The gods are with us. In fact, everything we do is a celebration of the gods. So our house is our temple. Okay? The temple is not a place you go and celebrate the gods. You celebrate the gods in your house. If you have enough faith to turn your house into a temple. Okay? So this is Inuit art. Okay? And if you go to like many native communities that maintain the traditions of the Ice Age, they're all like this. Okay? In their perception. But the problem is they cannot communicate it using modern language. So we just think they're stupid. Okay? They can't write essays. They can't give speeches. And so therefore we think they're stupid. But they're not stupid. It's just that they're focusing their energies on empathy, on imagination, on intuition. All right, so let's give examples of empathy in action. And this is true for the entire world, okay? So once there was a horse in America that could do math. All right, so the horse would go on stage, and then the trainer would ask the horse a question like, what's 2 plus 2? And the horse would be like, nay, 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 nay. And then it would be like, oh, the horse can do math, okay? So the horse cannot do math, okay? I'm telling you right now, the horse cannot do math. So what the horse is doing, think about it, is the horse is reading the room, right? Because the people who pay the money to go into the theater to watch the horse do math obviously believe the horse can do math. Okay? So what happens is when the trainer says to the horse, what's 2 plus 2? The horse is nay, nay, and the horse is watching everyone, okay? And as the horse comes to the answer, the horse sees that the people are like really excited. Okay? Their eyes are bulging. Their breathing is faster because people are in anticipation, right? The horse says, oh, now I know the answer. Okay? This is empathy. Animals can do it. We can do it as well. It's actually our superpower. Okay? Does that make sense? Okay? Second example is telepathy. So in America right now, there's a very popular podcast called the Telepathy Tapes. You might have seen it, you may have heard of it, okay? The idea is that kids with autism are able to read the minds of their parents. Guys, I'm telling you right now, the autistic kids cannot do that. They do something else, okay? So let me tell you a story of how they do this. In China, there's also a similar case where a mother in the countryside, okay, so she's not educated, she has no money, but her son is autistic. It's an autistic boy, doesn't really speak, cannot make eye contact, okay? Lots of issues, cannot go to school. So one day, the mother contacts CCTV, the national broadcaster, and says, hey, my son can read my mind. And, these are TV people, so like, okay, this will make a good documentary. So they fly all the way down to this village, this poor village, and the mother is, doesn't speak great Chinese. So they have to film this process, okay? So what happens is the boy is put into a room by himself. And then the mother is given a number, okay, like maybe 5. Then the mother goes and asks the boy, please read my mind. And the boy says, you saw the number 5. And it's pretty amazing. And of course, it's not really believable. So this documentary team spent days and days to figure out what happened. Okay? Finally they brought in artificial intelligence, AI. What the AI figured out is it's the pitch of the voice that gives the answer. Okay? So the mother is saying, read my mind. Read my mind. Okay? And the difference in the pitch, there's a different number in that pitch. But the problem is it's so subtle that only the boy can hear the difference in pitch. We humans, ordinary humans, cannot hear the difference. And so the documentary crew confronted her and says, listen, the AI, our artificial intelligence system tells us that what you're doing is you're cheating. You are using pitch to give signals to your son. Is that true? And the mother is like, yes, I'm sorry. Yes, it's all a lie. We're poor, my son is autistic, I want my boy to go to school. I want my boy to get professional help. And that's why we devised a scheme in order to trick you so we can get some television coverage, and then maybe we can get some donations, maybe some people will help us, okay? And that's why we did the scheme. And so that's it. But think about this. Think about how amazing it is that the two together were able to devise a scheme, right? Think of how amazing it is that they were able to devise a scheme that was so creative that it tricked people. Only an artificial intelligence system could figure the system out, okay? So this mother is not educated, but she loves her son, and she wants the best for her son. So she figured out what her son's special ability is, pitch. She's able to hear different sounds, and devise a scheme to make full use of the son's ability. Okay? So that tells us the power of the human imagination if we truly love someone. Okay? So they created a hidden emotional language together, which again is amazing. And it's something that you will see when two people actually love each other. They will create their own language that only they can understand. And the last example is some cooperative painting, right? So we discussed this where if I put 10 of you in a room and I give you a blank wall and I ask you to draw, the pictures you're going to create are going to be pretty amazing, okay? You're not allowed to speak, you're not allowed to cooperate, you're not allowed to plan it ahead, but I guarantee you, when the 10 of you get together and you start drawing together, you will draw a great picture. And the reason why is not because you want to draw a great picture, it's because you all want to help each other. You don't want to let each other down, okay? Because of cooperation, because of empathy, you want to be at your very best. You want to be at your creative best. That's the secret to creativity, okay? When you're able to find a purpose and meaning in other people, your creative potential will be fully released. Does that make sense?